babies don't get up and walk on day one.
I'm still learning till this day.
Every time you're up there on the musalla in front of the mic,
you're never going to be as good as they claim, and you're not going to be as bad as your critics.
And it's a huge honor and privilege.
Don't let your hard work go down the drain. In the month of Ramadan, during Taraweeh prayers, the people are represented by two separate and equally important groups, the congregation and the Hufadh who lead the prayers. These are their stories.
Tips for new Hufadh who are planning to lead. And I like to say this quite a bit, that babies don't get up and walk on day one. So baby steps, very, very important. This is definitely something new for you, but you've been chosen to do this because you are qualified to do this. Now, it does not mean that you become all proudful and you're full of pride that, see, I can do it and no one else can do it. Always be humble. Humility is very, very important. You will stumble, you will make mistakes, but don't let that put you down. Just get up and try again. Make sure to do all the prep that you need to do. Give it 110%, and then the rest, rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make dua before you start leading. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. I do this every time I start leading, and it really, really helps. So again, be confident, do the best preparations that you can do, and go ahead and do it and enjoy it. And inshallah, I trust that you will do a good job.
There are many tips that I can give to new Hufadh that are going to lead, inshallah. It is a learning opportunity whenever you're leading. I'm still learning till this day. But I think the biggest tip that I can give is to make sure that you're always sincere whenever you're leading. It's very easy to get caught up in all the attention and sometimes lose focus on why you're doing what you're doing. Right? So this means that you should always make it a habit to always renew your intentions and make sure that you're doing it for the right reason and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, I think another tip that I can give you guys is, you have to be prepared when you're leading Taraweeh. Of course, it is a blessing, but also it is a responsibility on you whenever you're leading. So on top of what you're supposed to revise and your section that you're going to lead, inshallah, I think it's also important to revise and prepare the whole section that is being read on that day. So instead of only revising your part, revise the parts of the other reciters as well. So in any case, if you have to recite more, you'll be more than prepared to do that, inshallah.
My advice to the young Hufadh, everyone who's been in this position of leading Salah knows that there's a big difference between when you're revising the Quran in your own sweet spot in the privacy of your own room compared to when you're leading, even if you're leading just your family or hundreds of people or even thousands of people. And so my advice would be that every time you're up there on the musalla in front of the mic, just mentally picture yourself that you're still back in that sweet spot in the privacy of your own room, revising the Quran, and there's no one except you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watching you. And you will have more fluency that way, and you will make, inshallah, less mistakes that way, and you will be more sincere.
Tips for new Hufadh. Subhanallah, really, my biggest advice and tip, just don't get distracted by people. Don't get distracted by the criticism. Don't get distracted by the praise. You're never going to be as good as your fans or people that love you, your parents, your mom, your dad. You're never going to be as good as they claim, and you're not going to be as bad as your critics make you to be. Just do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and avoid the noise. And make sure that you're sincere and that you're focused and that you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And imagine on Yawm al-Qiyamah, standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being elevated and rewarded for all that you've done. You want no recognition except the recognition from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah bless you and give you Jannat Firdaus, Ya Rabb. Ameen.
Some tips for young Hufadh and new Imams leading Taraweeh prayer. I have 2 tips for you guys. Number 1 is to purify your intentions. Understand the fact that you are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's a huge honor and privilege to be able to lead people in Salah, in Ramadan, in Taraweeh prayer. And number 2 is to work hard outside of Ramadan with your review and with your relationship with the Quran. understand its meanings, ponder upon it, and try to implement it as much as you can in your life, and just enjoy it. You know, it's a big honor and a huge privilege. So enjoy it and build that relationship with the Quran, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Humaiz Shahid again, and today's question is tips for a new Huffaz. Well, one valuable tip I want to give to all the new Huffaz is being a Hafiz and memorizing the Quran is not it. But when you memorize the Quran, make sure you revise it. Make sure you remember the Quran. All the effort that you put in to memorizing the Quran for the years, don't put that down the drain by completing the book and be like, I'm done, I memorized the Quran, that's it. No. Make sure you revise the Quran every single day, no matter what. Don't let your hard work go down the drain by not revising it after you're finished. The job is not done after you memorize. The job actually starts after you memorize by revising it and remembering it.
Ramadan